What's up? What's up? What's up? Today we're going to be making homemade donuts, y'all. This is going to be a very, very simple recipe. You don't need anything fancy, no fancy kitchen tools or nothing to make this, y'all. I hope you guys enjoy, but look at this donut right here, baby. Soft up. Let's get to the tutorial, y'all. So I'm going to be starting with a large bowl here. Make sure you have the large bowl to start out with. In this particular recipe, I'm using milk, but I prefer to use water like I did in my last donut recipe. So if you like a dense donut, use milk. If you like a lighter, fluffier donut, use water. And you just want to make sure that the water or the milk is really, really warm, but not too hot, okay? Almost like the temperature of a baby's bottle, okay? So you want to make sure it's warm. We're going to add that to the bowl. And then we're going to be adding our yeast. I always tell you guys, don't be afraid to work with yeast unless it is coming out of a body part, honey. Then you need to run for the hills, child. Other than that, you're good to go. So we're going to be adding our yeast to our milk or water, whatever you prefer to use. And then we're going to add a little bit of sugar to that to help the yeast bloom, okay? So we're going to stir it all around just like that. And then we're going to sit it to the side for about 10 minutes until it gets nice and foamy and the yeast blooms, okay? So while our yeast is blooming, I'm going to be working on my wet ingredients that's going to go into our dough. So I have one large egg here, and I have it at room temperature. I'm just going to scramble it on up, okay? Like the Migos, mix it up like stir fry. And then I'm going to be melting my butter-flavored shortening to go into our dough. So this is the guide that you use right here. It's going to tell you we're going to be using 4 tablespoons. So you just count 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you unveil it like this right here. Look at that beautiful shortening, darling. Don't it look good? Look like a old stick of butter. So we're going to just cut it, and then we're going to pop it in the microwave for about 30 to 45 seconds and melt it, okay, in a bowl. So now you see that our yeast is looking like we want it to look. It is looking... It look like it ain't living right, but that's okay. This is how we want it to look, okay? So once the yeast start to look like this, it's nice and bloom, then you're going to add in all your wet ingredients and also your dry ingredients. So we're going to add in our sugar, then I'm going to add in that egg and also our melted shortening, okay? And then once you add all that, just stir it around. Then we're going to add in our flour, okay? So I'm using all-purpose flour here. I don't like to use bread flour in my donut recipe because it makes the donut a little bit more heavy. But if you like a heavy donut, then hey, by all means, honey, it's your prerogative. Use bread flour, but I like to use all-purpose. So I'm just going to take my spatula here, and like I said, we are not using a KitchenAid or a stand mixer because I realize a lot of people out there, y'all, you ain't got that. So I want to make this very practical for you and not have any excuses not to make these for your family or just, honey, for you. Grab a glass of wine, honey, and just enjoy these or some milk. So we're just going to fold it all together gently just like that till we bring everything together. As you can see, I'm just taking my time doing this. This probably took me about 3 minutes or so to make the dough. So we're just going to form it until it comes together just like this with our rubber spatula. Then what I like to do is I like to have a little bit of flour sitting to the side like this right here, y'all. And then you just want to take a little bit of flour and sprinkle it on top of the dough because now you're going to form the dough into a little ball with your hands. It takes about 30 seconds to do that. You don't want to overwork the dough. Okay, you just want to bring it together with your hands, all right? Because maybe it'll be tough as Joe's toenail. You don't need that. They ain't going to be sopped up. Okay, going to be chewing on hockey pucks. Then folks going to talk about you in that group chat. We want light and fluffy donuts. Okay, don't do that. So once you bring it together just like that, what you want to do is flour your surface. Now I'm just using my little board here that I normally just use, and I just put a little bit of flour on there, not too much because you don't want to throw the baking ratio off, okay? Because you know baking is all about science, okay? So just a little bit of flour, maybe about 2 tablespoons, 3 tablespoons of flour, just so that the dough doesn't stick to the surface. Then you want to take a little bit of flour and just sprinkle it on top of the dough. Now we're going to knead the dough by hand because we're not going to use a stand mixer because a lot of people don't have that. But if you have a stand mixer, by any means necessary, use that. But I like to work with dough, and I have 2 stand mixers, and I still do this by hand. I don't know why, I just like it. So I'm just going to take the heel of my hand, and I'm just going to knead the dough. I'm going to form it just like this right here. You kind of just rock it back and forth with the heel of your hand. It looks like I'm doing it heavy, but I'm not. I do have a really light hand doing this, y'all. I don't know why I look like I'm over here and me and this dough got an abusive relationship going on. I don't know, baby. This dough gonna need some counseling or something. But that's not the case, all right? I am using a very, very, very light hand. And you want to just knead this for about 2 minutes. Once you see the dough is springing like this right here, once you touch it and it spring back, or if you pull it and it stretches a little bit, then you know the dough is ready. It doesn't take you long to do that. Do not overwork the dough, y'all, but just bring it together just like that until it looks nice and smooth. Then I'm going to take a bowl here that I have sprayed with some non-stick spray, and then I'm going to add our dough to the bowl, and we're going to allow this to proof. You got to let it proof, honey. You got to let it rise, honey, so they get nice and fluffy. So I'm going to just cover this in saran wrap, and then I'm going to place it in my microwave for about 45 minutes, all right? This is so simple, y'all. I promise you, we're pretty much done with the dough. All thing we got to do is cut them out now, and we are going to fry them. So I'm going to take that, put it in my microwave. 45 minutes have passed, and as you can see, the dough has doubled, and it has those nice little air pockets in there that are gorgeous, and that means that we're going to have a light, fluffy donut. See, it's very tender to touch. Yeah, that's what we want. So we're going to flour our surface one more time with just a little bit of flour. And then we're just going to put a little bit. You see that flour? It was a little bit of flour on top just so our hands don't stick to the dough. And then I'm just going to press it out. I'm not going to even use a rolling pin, y'all, because I realize a lot of people don't have that too. Want to make it as practical and easy as possible, okay? You don't need fancy kitchen tools to do this. So we're just going to flatten the dough out, not too thin and not too thick. Just flatten it out to maybe about 1/4 of an inch or so. And now we're going to take the rim of a cocktail glass. That's right. And I'm going to add a little bit of flour to it. And then I'm just going to cut my donuts out. Don't even need no donut cutter. Baby, we ain't got that. Okay, this is the hood version. All right. And if you want to cut the donut holes out, that's what we're going to do. We're going to use a top. That's right. I got this top off of my corn syrup. Okay. And I just washed it off really good. And then I put it in my flour and dust it with my flour a little bit so it won't stick. And then we press it down and boom, there you go. See what I'm saying? You got donuts. Take the donut holes and the donuts. See? Look at that. You don't need all that stuff. You don't need all that stuff. We're finna get it popping. So you just cut all your donuts out, y'all, and put them to the side on parchment paper, okay? Because we're going to let them proof again. But once you remove all your donuts, you're going to see you have a lot of dough that is left over, okay? What we going to do with that dough? We're going to bring it together again, and then we're just going to press it out, and then we're going to cut out more donuts. Don't you throw that dough away, baby. That's some good dough, okay? So now we got all of our donuts, and they're going to be on our parchment paper. I just put them on a sheet pan with parchment paper, and then we're going to cover them because you want the dough to rise one more time. So just cover them up with plastic wrap again, and then just sit them to the side for about 15 minutes. They're going to proof again. That's going to make sure the donut is nice and airy, all right? So while we're doing that and the dough is proofing again, we want to start on our glaze. So as you know, all the ingredients will be in the description box, so don't you fret, just check it. So the glaze is pretty simple, y'all. I just got some cornstarch here, and I got some powdered sugar, some vanilla, and also a little water. And you can change the flavoring if you want to, honey. Okay, add a little bit of maple vanilla, whatever you want to do to make it soft up. It's your glaze. Do what you want to do. So now I'm going to be getting ready to fry the donuts. I'm going to fry the donuts in my deep cast iron pot, or you can use a deep fryer if you want to, but make sure you have a deep pot if you don't have a deep fryer. And we're going to be using shortening. Now, I like to fry most of my things in shortening anyway because it doesn't allow your food to be greasy. And I'm going to be using butter flavor shortening here, okay? If you want to use vegetable shortening, it's totally up to you. Just please use shortening, y'all, because I find that using shortening does not the donuts, are not really greasy, okay? They're still light and airy because when shortening gets cold, what it do? It forms into a solid versus if you fry them in just vegetable oil, they'll be sinking and then they won't be light and airy. So I'm just going to put a heaping amount, okay? Let the spirit lead you. A heaping amount of shortening into my pot. I think I used like half the can or whatever, maybe about 6 heaping them out. And you want the shortening to melt. So I'm on medium heat right now. I'm on medium heat. Do not fry your donuts on high heat. If you're using a deep fryer, put it on 325, okay? So we're just going to let this melt down. And I didn't fill the pot all the way with the shortening, just halfway, okay? Just enough for frying, all right? So once it melted down and it's nice and hot, just over medium heat, not hot heat, but you want to test them out with your donut holes, just like I did right there. And if you see the donut holes are nice and sizzling, then you know your grease is ready to go. So we cooked up our donut holes just to make sure we test the grease. And now I'm going to add my donuts in. I'm going to cook my donuts for about 45 seconds on each side. They're going to float just like this. And I'm going to take some skewers here that cost me $1 or so. And then we're just going to flip the donuts over, okay? Just like this right here, as you're going to see. They're going to flip on over. Take your 2 little skewers, okay? And flip the donuts over about 30 to 45 seconds per side. And then you want to just strain them on a paper towel, okay? So remove your donuts. I'm frying 3 to 4 donuts at a time. Don't overcrowd your pot because it's not going to be good, okay? Your donuts ain't going to be sopped up. They're going to be a greasy mess, okay? Because it's going to be too much in there, okay? So once you just fry all your donuts up, I think I made about a dozen, actually. Then you want to just dip them in your glaze, just like this right here, okay? I remember a comedian said that she had a man coming up looking like a glazed donut one time. So I always think about that when I see this. Yeah, but thank God for Jesus. Anyway, so we dipped them in our glaze, and then I put them on my wire rack here that I got from the Dollar Tree just to let the glaze dry out a little bit. And as you can see, y'all, look at that. Perfect, beautiful donuts. Light and... Ooh! Thank God for Jesus. Look at that. So delicious. I hope you guys try this recipe. I hope you guys enjoy it. Be sure to like, share, and subscribe to this channel. Talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.